I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is October 1st, Wednesday, 2025. Hope you had a good day today. New quarter, new month. So I'm gonna clean this chart right in front of you right now just to show you the logic. But yesterday I put a little post saying that, okay, well, when I made the video last, literally live here, we came and we hit this, second target that I wanted to hit. And then we didn't get an expansion, right? And because of the, what's it called, government shutdown and all these other things talking about, and it being the new quarter in the month, the problem with that is that you expect accumulation and manipulation distribution profile to be kicking in as well, right? What's that? That's the open, that's the wick of the month even, right? So we're starting a new month. So you're generally going to see it push down. Now, if it had pushed up, you also had a risk of it coming back down to still create that wick. But that's the general case. And then we're talking about, this right here. So just like this example I was giving, this range that I was depicting, and this ended up being it, but coming into a deeper discount is obviously more preferable, and they're waiting for more people to get in on that case. So I made this video on Monday. So this is the 29th video. Today's the 1st. And the idea was to, obviously in that retrace, when was it done? Yesterday, for as far as correction goes, I said that that was the end of the retrace, right? But it wasn't, so I'm not going to be right all the time, and it doesn't matter. It's no big deal. You can still profit and still participate afterwards. But the point is that in that retrace, when was it done? We ended up getting, in this video, yesterday, you could see the other wick, the week wick here last week. You can see it quadded. We ended up getting in there. But remember, this is the logic from earlier, right? So, but they came lower, right? But the goal with after that retrace was to then expand. So the fuckery is here. Yesterday, right here, 4 hour. Yesterday, I made the video and it wasn't even closed. So we also ended up closing, and I was busy. My wife was the one that told me something about the government shutdown. I kind of just completely forgot about it, but kind of really didn't matter at the same time. But same time, you add that with the pullback into the month, new week, wick. I'm sorry. You're going to probably get another drive down. And if you can see right there, look at the perfectness on, is that even a word? Came right to that wick of the week. Right, that top 25 quadrant. Look at the hour body sitting there. So I'm waking up and I'm seeing that. So we already came back. I already knew I was gonna probably wake up and God knows what was gonna happen. But at the same time, when I did this projection here, you can see we were in a 1 and 1.5. So it's a logical trade to buy from here and expand if it's really, really bullish. But they decided to manipulate it. We have the circumstances also in play, but notice that we had that little swing low right there, but then we closed low below. We didn't end up closing strong, and it's not like a retrace and then it just kept going. No, it started slithering down. Obviously it broke through, right? So but the point is that in this high to higher low, you have a retrace of, and these drives, 1 swing, 2 swing, this was the 3rd, and on this 3rd you had 3, right? So what I mean is another swing here, swing here, swing here, swing here. See, this is today, obviously. And you'll see that even on the left side and the right side of this swing low, you have that low, and you can see that we're pretty much knocking on that area, right? And also now you can see, again, I'm waking up and it's like perfectly on my chart already, right? Look at the bodies on the 15-minute here, right? So I also did this projection here from when it failed yesterday and it hit that target. And it was pretty strong when it came back. So it was kind of like a reversal when I was talking about it. But hey, if it was going to hold, it should have pushed up in this zone or in this range. But here you can see it perfectly. Then 2 to 2.5 right here. And then the top quadrant again is obviously this and that level, which is last week's close, right? So look how we're bouncing on it already here. Okay. So I have this projection here, and I have the one I just told you about over here. So 2 to 2.5. And we knocked that too. Look how we knocked that too right there. Look at the two. Look at that. Look right there. So, okay, this looks like more of a finale. You see the strong candles coming down, and then you have this push up. That's a balanced price range. That's also a reversal. So now we have, like on the top here, you have reversal with reversal, right? And in general, then the expansion will kick. This leg I wanted to see here. Guess what? It didn't happen. And you know what? It was also a little premature. It was also suspect. It was a transition day. It was another speaker. That's fine. We also had one here today too, a speaker. But the point is that it's a little shallow for it to just pop from right here, right? Because it was just meaning like it would just push up. You know, whatever. Hey, whatever. It is what it is. But take a look. I'm waking up, and then the chart setting up also moves, but you also still don't know at the end of the day, right? But if you follow the protocol and we understand that we have the projections down here, algorithmic levels bouncing perfectly, then we have the opening range gap over here. We have liquidity here and here. We come and we snag that guy first. Then we come up to the daily gap today and the top 75% of the opening range gap. You can see it. We're wicking and we're rejecting specifically. All right, and then here, tagging that many times. Look at here, tags it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one doesn't go above. That's exactly what you want to see in an entry as well. Shakeout, so buy, sell, buy. Just, it's a common, buy, sell, buy would generally never make another low. But this is also in a shakeout profile. And then the key here was, we had a lower low here with Nas when we snagged that initial, and then we pushed up. They had higher lows. And then here, Dow, at the time, I was doing that pre-market. Yeah, this had higher highs here. So that was also pushing us down to take out that low. So let me just delete this because this is not really important in the conversation as much. And then once we were up here, we had a little divergence right there that pushed us back down. And then, you see the lower low here. Lower low here with higher lows right there, signifying the buying. Trying to act all tough right there, right? But that being mentioned, this sell here, beautiful, right? To come back down and then bouncing to the tick, right? On that specific level. All right, and then I'm gonna also do this with that same 4-hour imbalance. You can see that we're pretty much holding price action right there. See that? And now we get the 3 candle swing here with the 4th as an expansion, and you can see right here swing 1, 2, 3 comes in and then closes. We come back down we're still inside, and then it's opened above, and that 4-hour candle from the 10 o'clock, because we had news today, is now going to expand. That's the expansion. So that was trying to do that here, right? Okay, a little premature, no big deal. I don't give a fuck, and then they came underneath that low again, rated that liquidity, boom. Any buy below the open is the best part of the wick. So that's the accumulation with the sells here, manipulation down. We get today finally, and then now your profile of the week is panning out with the expansion on Wednesday. So very clear. If you're struggling, you're looking for these, you want to be trading candle, you want to try to catch the bottom. No, you don't need to catch candle 3. You can catch candle 3, right? And then as it respects 50% of this wick and this candle, we close above, and then that 4th one you're expecting and anticipating it to expand, and it does. It makes the new highs, right? So I'm going to clean up the chart in a second, but so by the way, the 4-hour, look at the 4-hour body sitting there, right? Even though we come outside of it and we take out the whole amount, it gets reclaimed here, especially in the bodies, right? And then you can see, so let me just move that over just because it's kind of noisy. But what was I gonna say? Okay, opening range gap here. So we're opening here. We have the previous settlement from here. You're in a discount. We're pushing up to also seal that opening range. All right, so 70% of the time it's going to get to the 50% and seal it within the first 30 minutes. And then after that, it's going to be 10 to 10:30. But the projection here, you can see the 101.5 up here, 2 to 2.5 up here. And I'm going to clean up the chart in a second right now, but the liquidity to the left as an easy run, previous day's high, obviously Monday's high, and the all-time high right there, right? So, perfect. Okay, so let me just do this while we're live here. So we had this wick, we had the daily wick here. We came into that top quadrant. I'm deleting it. Okay, and then that was the pretty much the low to a higher low to a higher high to a higher low, and then this whole entire leg had this funky leg here, right? So we had this push up, push down, push up, push down, internal getting swiped, pushing up, okay, and then the drive. So this structure looked like this, same as I did yesterday, but it ended up being this. So just so I'm just gonna do it in one shot here, like this, like this, like this, like that. See that? So it's still just a retracement, but you ended up getting this internal liquidity, and then the rush down. So not really complicating, but at the same time, a little bit hard to read, especially with the fear mongering going on, right? So X marks the spot, comes right to Friday's daily gap open, algorithmically referencing Friday and its gap, and you have that that imbalance, that first imbalance is there. You can see to the tick right there, too much confluence and settling. So coming right back down to bounce on it and then expand. So so I deleted that, and then again, remember I had this projection here coming to the 101.5. All right, I'm going to delete that because we already made a new high. Right, so we came down here, and then in this leg here that I got projected, we got the 2 to 2.5 here, body stayed in, and then ultimately that 3.5 to 4 is still there. I'll keep that on here. This projection here, I already discussed that from the 2 to 2.5. The 101.5, again, it's risky, but where would your trades like to be? Your trades needs to be somewhere in the 101.5 or the 2 to 2.5 or 3.5 to 4. Like, anything in between is very, very suspect, right? But anyways, you put a fib from here to here, and this is probably a 70 or whatever. I'll see it in a second. And then we coming up here into that previous week's quadded level. You can see that we did that also yesterday perfectly with that first imbalance on Monday, and then pushing back down. So I'm going to delete this. We're already above it. We can use it again coming back in or whatever the case is, but it can be used for future reference. But for now, it's not that important. But then over here, as you see, we drop down to that 25%, the top 25% of that quadrant of the week, and then also ultimately you can see the open of Friday, right? See that? So they're tagging that. Pretend this is a 1 minute chart. Very, very common price action. And before I delete that, you can see that clear. I've already discussed this here, right? So I'm gonna delete this just to be clean. And anyway, we came down to that projection here, and then from here up, I didn't put it on that time frame. Let me just put this. I'll put this on the 1 hour real quick. I want to try to make videos short, but there's so much to still talk about. And then, fuck. So rolling right to it. What's to the left? High, 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 right? So easy, low resistance liquidity run. So that's why you see an expansion. Plus, on a birdie day with a buy, sell, buy, it's a classic buy day, generally speaking. Once you get past this area here and it starts to slither up, birdie days are not coming back down. I talk about this all the time on the channel on an expansion day. And then you'll get these, you'll get these lows, and then it gets revisited as support. Same here. Lows visited as support, right? Lows visited as support. Raise it. The difference between this one and this one is that this one didn't get rated, but it bought above it. This one here made these lows, and then it did rate it, and then it used this as a down candle. I'm actually jumping around, but just because I happen to be here, that's a perfect level. All right, this is not random what we're discussing. And when you see the birdie day, that means on an hourly chart, you expect each hour to stay in imbalance. Why? Because they're breakaway imbalances. So strong that they're trying to rush. They don't have time to close, make another hourly candle, dip in it, go back. They're not doing that. All right, notice how this candle didn't break that low right there, of that down candle right there in the 1 hour. What was I going to say? So you'll see that when this now 11 o'clock shows up, you're not looking for a retracement or, coming back at lunch. You're expecting it to consistently buy for the targets, but knowing that these are just pullbacks on these hours on the wicks, they stay empty as a breakaway imbalance, because you want to see that empty when they're taking liquidity, right? So just like here, like you didn't get that. You didn't get these candles constantly pushing up. Obviously that's man-made. As you can see, can't you see the manipulation as this is constantly floating right here? This is a buy program. These aren't buyers and sellers that are able to do that. So obviously just a language. Okay, so push down, get to 2 to 2.5. I'm going to delete this now, because now once you were down here, what's the push up? We're pushing up, right? I'm going to keep that down there as well. So hope that makes sense, and that's what it looks like. So for the thing with this is that as you have this first imbalance here, you can see you got to highlight from here to here, has a gap right there. This sell here, which I caught right here, all right, wicking, perfect stop loss above. All right, you do have this first inversion comes underneath. There's your confirmation trades working besides these wicks, but and then at the temporary moment, you can see that we are underneath this bullish inversion, which it turns for the moment, and then we tag underneath and we come and we seal this. With us, we happen to make another low. Obviously, S&P and Dow did not. There's your divergence, and your liquidity run is ready to go for the top side. You also haven't sealed this. Does it have to? No, but we're bullish. So, and also doing some research, you could, they say that 86% of government shutdowns are still bullish returns for the S&P and all that. So, more bearish economies like in the 70s and stuff like that, but this is another conversation. But so keeping it simple is what we're saying, is as far as understanding the price action is still bullish, right? With this push down here, you'll see that we have this down candle here. We push up, we get to the 50%. Coming back to the breakout sellers down here, easy sellers. Why come right back down, wipe out the easy buyers, and then notice that this candle does not take out that low. Now, if you're confused, you see a swing low right here. I knew right away that this bitch, well, because we had the 10 o'clock news, so gotta let that play out for a second. But if you are watching price live, you'll see this 15-minute candle, this 945. If it was going to be bearish and push down, you would have wanted to see a strong closure underneath, right? But it pushed back up right at the last second, which was this candle right here, this 959 candle. It was pushed down, bold face. It could have just stayed strong, and then it whipped right back. That ended up turning that into a swing low on that 15-minute candle. This candle right here, the low. Okay, so the body closed here. The 10 o'clock opened, whipped right quick, right here, and then closed up. And then now we're 50%. Notice on that first imbalance and that 25% that's nested, we are literally closing above the price. If it's selling, should have never been, well, to be honest, it should have never really came up here, right? Because if it was, it would have popped in here and then kind of slithered this way, right? Didn't do that. Sign number one. Sign number two, we had the divergence. Well, that was probably sign one. Sign two, the way that 15-minute closed. And then here, with it being the next swing low here, just like what I was discussing on the 4-hour, candle one, candle two, candle three of the swing, candle three is expanding. So if that means obviously candle four, obviously we close up here, but candle four is now the fractal of this candle four on the 4-hour. Hope that makes sense. Because now that you understand that, and what I'm giving you, again, that closure with that candle, 10 o'clock is the expansion candle, and it's obviously connected to that 4-hour candle. So you have all that working for yourself, plus everything I just mentioned earlier. But when This pops up. Okay, cool. We're sitting in the middle. No problem. Then we push up like this. We push up and we close above and we come back in. Last down candle. I could have put it on the second one, but that's fine. But that's also direction. Number two, it should not be fucking up here. Number three, you have flow and you have closures of change of deliveries here, right? Which is also this last down candle. But coming right back in where last down candle, and look at the 50, look at the first imbalance, the top quadrant. If I have this quadded, this first imbalance instead of 50, the 25% sitting right there. It's a perfect tap. We're above that imbalance, okay? And then it's gone right here. Look at the 50 of the opening range gap. Look how it bounces right on it perfectly. Boom, it's gone. Now it slithers. Now they're little candles, and they do that the rest of the day. They're trying to be incognito and make you not think, where is it really going? It should never be above this high. Period. I mean, that's like 1000% shouldn't be up here, right? RSI, beautiful there, pushing up until some tops here, right? Some rates. 1, 2, 3, 4. Retraces. See that? Comes out. And then it's a breakaway. Why? Because it's an expansion mode. You are expecting this in the expansion mode, and most traders are wanting to be expansion traders. Obviously, you want to buy trends, right? So that's the language. That's what it looks like. See that? Where you're gonna say, well, for me, I'm not really interested in buying that if I haven't bought down here, because of the fact that, I mean, you can, because you expect it to rush up, and you can kind of, trail the stop, but it's just like, I'm not putting my stop loss here, and that's not how I'm gonna play the game. But but the logic of holding, if you're in here and you're going for it, is what matters, especially when you have your targets of that liquidity to the left of the chart, right? So hope that makes sense, right? See that completely empty right there. See that? Gone. Locked. It's locked. Price is locked. It's not coming back in. None of that. Not for a day like this. So, and then slipping the rug. But beautiful price action here, though. I mean, pretty nice as far as this goes. And then the way they did the 10 o'clock. So, am I missing something? So, I feel like I'm missing something here. Didn't I just explain all of it? Yeah. So, yeah. What else? And then is again pushing up. Again, lows, push up, lows, comes right back to last down candles, right there, pushing up again. Then you get to start the speakering out, and then it's like, but that's why I'm not, I'm not trying to buy this. I'm not trying to come up here and buy this. Who's going to do that? So that's just what it is. That's logical understanding, right? 23 minutes. Yeah, so there's that. Dollar is just kind of fucking going sideways, right? And we're going to see if this is going to hold here. And then push back up, but I don't know. Seasonality wise, I mean, it's going to be a little bit challenging right now in these first, I'd say these first 5 days, because we can get a pullback and then start pushing up. I mean, again, I think I was mentioning them starting the fourth quarter early if you remember me mentioning it. Did I say that? Where did I say that? Did I say that? It was by the end of the month, but no, it was this. When this happened, I think I had said that they're starting the fourth quarter kind of early, and then we get a pullback right here, right? And it doesn't even go deep. So it's kind of like, okay, well, it could be a crazy bull run, and we can have a macro conversation, but I'm tired and don't really want to. But very simple range though, right? So highlighted that range very clearly. We're selling in here, even cut a buy here, and coming down, and then selling a buy. So it's like, it's no big deal. You're not missing moves. There's moves every fucking day. Daily chart at the second at the moment was looking kind of nasty, but you can see the range inside of it, right? You can see the structure. I'm sorry, inside of it, right? And they pulled it. So what else? What else could be a good sell? Doubt it. This can get very ugly here. And then you kind of want to now Monday through Wednesday was kind of like your best trading, kind of it's sort of best in the week, you know, and then tomorrow could could be another transition day, be rough. And then Friday you want to wait for that volatility. You can wait for then plenty of moves and ranges there and volatility. So it's like no need to feel like you're missing out on anything. Again, never feel like that because this is happening every day, dude. There is a trade happening every day. Top quadrant right there. Oh, there was something else I wanted to fucking mention. Reliving that daily imbalance again. Again, no bodies here. Just testing it. I'm not gonna draw it. I just want to clean this up, and this is pretty clean here. So, all right. So we pushed up here. And this is relative. This is relative too, but let me see something. Might be able to just do this real quick and see what that looks like. Might be a ending. All right, so we talked about this already. So we got 1 and 1.5 right here, and then this half right here. So what level is that? Looking for 25,400 ish, right? We're expecting that to be kind of like the next draw, unless because this is a little alarming here that we don't have any bodies whatsoever right there. So, I mean, again, we can still NFP can do some crazy shit and pull back down, So, but at the moment, we're just gonna say it's bullish, but we do expect some type of pullback in these first 5 days. So, if that's not it, and they did the seasonality is off, I sometimes mention to you that it might be delayed a little bit. I guess I'll just draw it now. This depends. This depends. This really depends. But depending if his speaker's out here or something, but then maybe coming back into this breakout area here, type of thing. However deep, if this is the new, obviously this is the new range, but when this is done up top here, we'll see. But again, you might see NFP do something like that, right? And then it's to continue back up, right? That's kind of really all I'm seeing. And now in this retracement, could it be? Could you get some fucking fuckery like this? Possibly. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know, but overbought on the 1 hour. And another thing I wanted to mention, we were sitting in the middle here. That's why I wasn't really favorable in this scenario. And by the way, the 50% is not something you really want to mess with when it comes to that range because you can get hurt there. You see it's 50% right there. We're sitting right there at it. But hey, you don't know. You don't know if it's going to keep going up. But that's why we want to discount. I should have put that retail fib. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can. I want to be done. Come on. This is what I was saying here. What's this? That's the 70, didn't I say? I guessed that, right? 61, 70, yeah, whatever. In the golden zone. And then what was I doing here? What was I doing? So again, this range here, right? And then you want to preferably be within a 2 to 2.5 range, or a 3.5 to 4 to then maybe be involved in a trade. That 1 to 1.5 it's risky, but I mean in bullish scenarios, it will buy from there. So just keep that in mind. This is just experience, and it is what it is. I'm missing something. Let me draw the 130s. First and balance. I can't make videos short. I don't know how. I just can't. I really can't. This is annoying. It's just all fucking ugly. Right here. All right, there's your PM sessions for some bounce beautifully. Okay, bounces back to the tick. That's your next buy. So essentially, you know, buy one, or if we don't count that, buy one here, buy two, buy three, buy four, buy five, right? And whatever. So just a logic. Just a logic. I feel like, let me see what else I need to say here. So we'll see how we bounce around from this here. What's today? Wednesday? It's only Wednesday. It's crazy. I always make Wednesdays and Mondays in the first of the month darker. I had some personal things going on today too. And just move that out just so I can see it. So yeah, I like something like this here. And then we'll see what they do there. But in this example of the breakaway imbalance that's sealing, that's holding, locking price and not coming back in, right? You want to see that on the daily. Like, you'd want to see that next one just open up and push off, or we want to expand when you're bullish, right? So it's the same logic here. You didn't have that anywhere here, but in a sense, you kind of want to see that here. So again, it could just dip, briefly and keep buying back up, but I'm just going to stick with some type of flow like this. So expansion phase, all right? So we're going to turn into a consolidation and then roll up. That's kind of what I mean by having a bullish breakaway imbalance on the daily, or it, again, retraces back, maybe wants to seal this candle, or, whatever. Set it up for Friday. We'll see. Thursday could be a transition day because we did move a lot here. And that's really it. There's so much more I can still even talk about. And, but what was I doing here? Let me see. I'll just try this. Okay, so this is kind of coupled with, this will move. This will eventually move over. I'm just going to move this over. So, nice target there. Maybe a pullback and then get into this too, using this 1 hour, these down candles here. Here is a support block as well. But that's the gist though. I mean, catching these swings, being a part of 3 and 4, and then wait for that all over again. If you're struggling in trading, there's your model right there. There's your model right there. Your change of delivery here. Look for your change of deliveries on the time frames. You had that already here on the 15-minute. You can see that, but they're holding. Their bodies are staying here. They're not coming any deeper as far as closures goes. We had that here yesterday, and again, this is just what manipulation is. It's just part of the game, and then you could do. But we got stuck at that 101.5 yesterday to hit that target, and then came down. So let me delete this. Just real quick. You can see I'm also using that right there. God, I didn't even go over fucking Dow and S&P. So again, we had a push up here, and then we had our retraces. Okay, that's dirty. That's manipulated. That's what it is, But this is your pullback, right? Pull back, right? And they finally made that expansion. We didn't get it yesterday. Very simple. And then it's pretty ugly there. But using that as support for the daily open and S&P. So speaker here again. So retracement, push up, raid. What are you going to do? And again, it's a consolidation. They raid both sides. So again, a little bit difficult to read the price action, right? But we ultimately look what they did. So that's what it is. So All right, pushing up, balancing on the 50%. I mentioned, and another thing I forgot to mention yesterday was that, we had we never were on oversold here. We hit it here beautifully all the way up to overbought. Like, oh my God, it's so fucking beautiful. And this is when I say, this RSI is pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, and take a look at it. Is it risky to be buying it? Yeah. I mean, but can you take the profit and be done? Yeah. So, but there it is. Like, you can't make that up. But speaker there. But and essentially, that's your final retracement back into the wick here. Oh, I can even do that on this wick too, by the way. So I make fucking videos long. What the? Well, I didn't even show the trade. Jesus Christ. There's that sell here. You can see with that opening using algorithmic levels specifically, it's hunting and going right back and referencing these levels and then pushing right back to the tick. I mean, look at me, look, to the tick. Bink. Like trying to hurry up. Know this is going to whip on me, and fucking beautiful trade here. Had the logic of understanding and it just breaking through. All right. So, I'm not going to fight that shit. But, anyways, what was I going to say? And that's it. I mean, that was the game. So that was the next higher low, pushed up. So, yeah, 1 hour. I talked about that, right? 15-minute, real clean. I already deleted that level. And the 4 hour here, sitting at the 50% and then pushing back up, right? So, back to business as usual, right? So, and again, we might have just a regular bullish year, and then 26 is maybe where we might see some shit go down. But I mean, right now it's just doesn't make sense. Oh, and I forgot to mention, obviously, Nvidia with that final and obvious more decision to say, hey, we're bullish because of the fact that this motherfucker's screaming up, right? So delayed time distortion with all this right here, and then here's your delayed reaction here. So we're getting the push through today, and they've already had that shit. They already had it yesterday, right? So that's them pushing back into that imbalance and breakout area. And if this was a 1 minute chart, this is your basic support, basic breakout, right? So very strong in that sense. And then that will explain everything of the decision making here, right? Especially with the swings I told you about. Fire, dude. You guys take care. God bless.